What is going on, everybody? It is Couch Cobra, and today we are going to be ranking all of the classic Sonic levels from Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 Knuckles, and Sonic CD. So, without further ado, let's get started with the list. So first off, we have Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. So this level is always reused a lot, and it's developed this sort of like stale reputation over the years, but we're talking Sonic 1 Green Hill Zone here. And Sonic 1 Green Hill Zone is still great. This is definitely one of the best classic Sonic levels. It is absolutely just a great level overall. A tier for sure. Next up is Marble Zone. Now, Marble Zone, it gets a bad rap because it comes right after Green Hill and it's a lot slower than Green Hill. But I will say that Marble Zone is actually pretty decent. It's a pretty decent level. It's not amazing, but it's short and sweet. So for that, I think it deserves a B tier. Next up, we have Spring Yard Zone. Bit of a hot take here. I think Spring Yard Zone is super underrated. Spring Yard Zone slaps, and anyone who says it doesn't just doesn't want any slowdown whatsoever. There's a couple parts where you're slowed down, but Spring Yard Zone is super good. The music's great, the aesthetic's awesome, the design of the level itself is great. So for that, this is an A tier level. Next up is Labyrinth Zone, and yeah, even I can't defend this. This is an E tier for sure. Labyrinth Zone, it's super damn slow. Not much going for it here. Yeah, it's definitely an E tier. You're underwater the whole time. You're slow as heck. You in the original version of the game, you can't even spin dash, so that makes this level even worse. Because a cool thing you can do in the mobile versions or the modern versions of Sonic 1 that add the spin dash is, let's say you get hit by an enemy or something, you can just spin dash spam like as much as you can. It makes the level a bit faster, but in the original Sonic 1, you can't do that. So that's why Sonic 1 for me is a definite E tier. Next up we have Starlight Zone. Starlight Zone slaps, absolutely killer stage. It belongs with Spring Yard and Green Hill in the A tier. The music is super chill and relaxing. It has some segmented parts for the speed that you kind of want in a Sonic game. And the platforming itself and the enemies and just the aesthetic, fantastic. It's a definite A tier. Next up is Scrap Brain Zone. And you know what? This is still a good level. It can be frustrating at certain points. Some enemies, some of the obstacles are a bit wacky, like the circle one and those it's like those conveyor platforms. They have like a bunch of little platforms on the little conveyor spinning thing. That's kind of mid, but other than that, the design of the level is pretty damn good, and it is the final level, so it's supposed to be challenging. B tier for sure. Next up, we're going now. That was all the Sonic 1 levels. Next up, we have Sonic 2 levels. Emerald Hill Zone is an S tier. It's basically Green Hill, but way better. It's way faster, enemies are cooler, music is debatably not as iconic, of course, but it's still pretty damn good. And yeah, it's a great introduction stage, short and sweet. Next up is Chemical Plant Zone. So, obviously, again, Sega keeps reusing Chemical Plant Zone so much it gets very stale. But, again, this is the original Sonic 2 we're talking about here. The introduction to Chemical Plant Zone. For that, it deserves S tier. It introduced speed boosters. The music is super insanely. It's insane, bro. The chemical plant. I know we always hear it, but damn, bro, that chemical plant music hits hard, bro. It's crazy, dude. It's so good. Next up is Aquatic Ruin Zone, and even though it's a water level, somehow it's actually a really good water level because if you're good enough, you can actually never touch the water in this level at all, and that in and of itself encourages replayability and it encourages you to get better at the game and find the best routes, which is what Sonic is about, bro. So you know what? That's A tier. One of the best water levels in the whole series. Next up is Casino Night. It's super chill, unique, stylistic. The level design itself is great. You get your speed, you get your platforming. The enemies are interesting but not frustrating. Man, this level has it all, bro. This is definitely an S tier stage. Next up we have Hilltop Zone. Hilltop Zone is another great level. It's a bit bland in comparison to some of the other Sonic 2 levels, but that's just because Sonic 2 levels are at such a high standard. So you know what? Hilltop Zone, definitely an A tier along with the other ones. All right, next up, we're getting into the mid Sonic 2 levels for a couple of these. Oil Ocean Zone. So this level is, like it's just kind of mid. Like the music is just kind of like not bad, but it's just kind of repetitive, and then the level design itself is just way slower. The enemies are super annoying sometimes, and the level just feels way too long than compared to the other ones. Maybe just because it's slower, but yeah, I definitely think this is a C tier. It's mediocre. Next up is Metropolis Zone. So another mediocre level again. It's like faster than Oil Ocean, so it doesn't feel as long for the most part usually, but the enemies are even worse, so that kind of balances out to the same level. Next up is Sky Chase. Again, this level's fine. It's like a couple minutes, but you're just on the tornado, like just hitting enemies in an auto scroller in a Sonic game. Even in auto scrollers in other games, it's like Mario and stuff. It's always the mid level, so even in Sonic games, it's just even worse. So that's a C tier for me. Next up is Wing Fortress, and Wing Fortress is actually a pretty damn good level. It's got some great design, and it's got some imposing music. It's pretty damn good. I'm gonna give this a B tier for Wing Fortress Zone. Next up, we have the Death Egg Zone. So this is just the final level. You fight the bosses and stuff. So the Death Egg robot can be frustrating if you don't know how to fight him, but uh, skill issue in it. So we're putting this in B tier. It's a good level. Now we're moving on to the goated levels. Okay, Sonic 3K. I don't want to hear none of it. Okay, almost every Sonic 3K level S tier. Okay, Angel Island Zone. Perfect introduction level. Hydro City Zone. Probably the best water level in the whole series. It's freaking amazing. Even Marble Garden, I don't know if I'd put it S, but it's a high A, bro. It slaps, bro. It's so good. Carnival Night is a bit mid. I would put it maybe in a high C, low B. I'd say it's about the same level as Oil Ocean, to be honest. Next we have Ice Cap. Woo, Ice Cap is chill, bro. I think it's high A, almost low S. Maybe I'll change it later. Oh, on Launch Base again, high A. It's super damn good. Mushroom Hill Zone, bro. Mushroom Hill Zone is crazy, dude. Mushroom Hill Zone goes hard. Okay, one of the best levels in the game. That's an S tier. Yeah. Again, Sonic 3 Knuckles just has a bunch of amazing levels. Uh, Hydro, like Angel Island, amazing. Hydro City, one of the best water levels. Marble Garden, really interesting mechanics with the verticality of the level. Carnival Night, it takes a bit too long, that's why it's a bit lower. Ice Cap, amazing music and aesthetic, and the design of the level is still really great. But I feel like it didn't stand out like enough to be in S tier. Maybe I'll move it to S later though. It depends. Launch base, it's a bit long sometimes. It's a bit like in some areas, and like if you're playing the Sonic 3 version of the game, you have to fight Big Arm as well, so that takes a bit long. So it can be a bit longer than the other ones, but I still think it's great. Mushroom Hill, it's amazing because like literally the level design's great. You got levels, or like not levels, like elevation to the level as well. The giant rings I also noticed are in really good spots in this level specifically. So yeah, that's why I think it's S. Flying Battery, it's a bit weaker, but it's still pretty damn good. You got the music slaps really hard. It's a bit slower, but you still got those segments of speed and challenging platforming to keep you engaged. So I think it's still pretty damn good. Sandopolis Zone is mid. Now, this is a common opinion among many people, but the reason I think it's mid is because it's literally just like, okay, the first act, it's already kind of bland with the like somewhat like music, and then the design of the level, it's just kind of basic and it takes way too long. But then Act 2 takes even longer and you have that annoying ghost mechanic. Good thing Sonic 3 Air, uh, the the what do you call it? Like port, I guess, or remaster, whatever you want to call it, that fans made. Uh, you can actually remove the ghosts from Act 2, which makes the level way better, but I still think it's C tier. Next up is Lava Reef, and again, this one is fine. It's a decent level, so I think it's B. It's still good. It's good. It's very enjoyable, but it's not. It doesn't really capture me as much as the other ones, and especially, it does take a bit long. And the Act 2 boss in Lava Reef Pro, that took forever, dog. It takes like 14 hits or something crazy on it. I don't even know. Hidden Palace Zone, I mean it's great. Like it's just a Knuckles boss fight, but it's really good. Sky Sanctuary, bro. There's a reason they reused this, man. Sky Sanctuary is great. It comes in the story right after like okay, Eggman, he took the Master Emerald and he's going up to his base, and then you get that Sky Sanctuary, the da 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 at the beginning, and it's super epic. Like, and then the level design's great. You have Knuckles like helping you at the beginning, man. This level is great. Death Egg Zone. This is actually a really good stage. It takes long, but it's still pretty damn good. Like the music is great. The enemies are challenging but not annoying. The mechanics are very unique. Yeah, I definitely think it's an A tier. We also have Doomsday Zone. Doomsday Zone, I'd honestly maybe even put it S. It may seem high, but Doomsday Zone is so epic. I will never forget the first time I got to Doomsday Zone. It was absolutely insane. I loved it. It was pretty damn great. Yeah, Doomsday Zone slaps. Okay, and that's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Next up, we have Sonic CD. Now this game, a lot of the levels are more divisive, but let's go through it. Let's see where I stand on this. So, Palm Tree Panic. Palm Tree Panic is freaking great. It's a great introduction level. It's not incredible. It's not S tier. It's not superb, but it's super good. It's basically Green Hill Zone. Like, you get the speed of Green Hill Zone, the platforming, and the exploration all jumbled up together in a very unique style. And that's kind of what I like about it. And the music is like super cheerful and nice. I think it's an A tier. Collision Chaos. I don't care what anyone says. Uh, Collision Chaos is good, bro. I really like Collision Chaos. It's honestly a high B, maybe even low A. There are a couple parts that are like, whoa, it's kind of crazy everywhere, but for most of the level, it plays like a Sonic game. You know, you just as long as you're going to the right and avoiding obstacles, getting those enemies, you know, like trying to get to the goal. Like it should be, you should have a fine time with it. Like and I really like the music. The aesthetic is very unique. Again, the exploration is through the roof. That's a B tier. Next up is Tidal Tempest. It's literally Labyrinth Zone, but just better. A better version of Labyrinth Zone. I think Tidal Tempest deserves B. It's faster. It has a very chill music. Not much dumb mechanics. Most of it is very straightforward. And yeah, I think it's B. Quartz Quadrant is great. It's literally like a mining level or something. And yeah, it's super, super cool. It's just a nice, fun level. Not too much to say about it. But yeah, it's great. Alright, Wacky Workbench on the other hand, this is a D tier. So, Wacky Workbench, for those of you who don't know, basically the bottom of the level has this, it has like this special ground that basically it lights up. It's like an electric ground. And when it lights up, and it does it periodically, uh, it pushes Sonic all the way up to the top of the level. He like bounces really high. And yeah, that makes this level very annoying to traverse. It's not awful. I'd rather play it than Labyrinth. I'd much rather play it than Labyrinth, simply because Labyrinth is just way too slow. But Wacky Workbench, it's still annoying. It's not great. It gets very annoying to traverse after a little bit. But again, it's very short, so it only offends me so much. Next up, we have Stardust Speedway. Very iconic. It's good. It's a good level. The thing is, this level can be weird because sometimes you play it and it's like, it can take like 2 minutes trying to traverse around. Other times you can beat it in like less than a minute. It's really weird. This level can be very inconsistent, but I think overall it's still enjoyable. It has great speed. Again, very unique. Almost all the pretty much every level in Sonic CD is so unique. That's what makes that game so good, in my opinion. The unique and diversity of the design and aesthetic, uh, really makes it stand out among the classic games, and even all Sonic games especially, and platformers at the time, and even today debatably. But yeah, Metallic Madness, I would give this a D. Metallic Madness sucks, bro. It is so, like, Act 1's not bad. You can finish in a couple minutes and it's all good. And it's almost like Scrap Brain for Act 1, right? It's good, it's fine, it's okay. But once you get to Act 2, there's these pipes you have to go through, and it's so frustrating because the pipes, like, you don't know which one's the right way, and sometimes you can get lost for minutes. I got stuck on this level for so long because I would just go through the pipe and I would just go the wrong way and I'd keep looping in circles. Everything looks the same. It's so unpolished to an extent. Well, not really unpolished, but it's so like confusing. I mean to say. So yeah, that's why Metallic Madness is D tier in my opinion. Probably the worst level in Sonic CD. You know. Okay, so these are the new Sonic Mania levels. So I think, yeah, they didn't include the old Sonic Mania levels on this tier list maker. It's just the new Sonic Mania levels. Studiopolis, easy S tier. Studiopolis absolutely slaps. Exploration through the roof. You got your speed, you got your platforming. The music bangs so hard, bro. This is one of the best songs in any classic Sonic game to date. I am not even joking when I say that. This song is so good. That startup, bro, when it goes lights, camera, action, and then it like gets that beat, bro. It's so damn good, bro. All right, next up, Press Garden. So Act 1 is like a C, a low B, but Act 2 on the other hand coming in as like a high A, bro, honestly. So I think low A suffices for Press Garden. The reason why is because Act 1, the song's okay, it's pretty decent, but it's just kind of like a printing press aesthetic, and you just, I don't know. The design's very, like, not basic, but it's a bit slow, just a lot of platforming, and there's not much, like, engagement, I feel, throughout the level. But Act 2 is this beautiful landscape. It looks like this Japanese, like, aesthetic, like, it's crazy. It looks super good. And there's, like, that cool mechanic where you can get frozen, and then, like, you go super fast down the loop and stuff. It's great. It's a great, level overall. Next up is Mirage Saloon. So Act 1 is C tier, maybe low B, but Act 2, bro, is S tier. So I think that makes it around high A. Because Act 1 is basically like Sky Chase again, which is this one where you're just basically in the tornado the whole time and you just keep going and stuff. But Act 2, bro, ups the ante with an even better song, and yeah, the song just slaps, bro. And the aesthetic is amazing. The design of the level is it's almost up there with like it's basically up there with Studiopolis in my mind. It is one of the best classic Sonic levels in like that act. So yeah, that's why I think A suffices. Next up, we have Titanic Monarch. It's good. It's basically kind of like the Death Egg Zone. I think Death Egg Zone's a bit better in my opinion because Titanic Monarch, it feels kind of more. Maybe I'm just not familiar with it as much as Death Egg Zone because I haven't played Sonic Mania as much as Sonic 3 Knuckles. But it's a good level. I still enjoy it. And finally, we have the final Sonic Mania level. I don't know the name of this level. It's just the final boss in Sonic Mania. So I think the final boss of Sonic Mania is much worse than the final boss in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but that's just because, you know, the stories are different. The game in Sonic 3 and Knuckles built up its boss way more than Sonic Mania did, in my opinion. The story in Sonic Mania just wasn't as good in general, but, you know, it's a 2D classic Sonic game. Story didn't really matter anyways in that game. So it's pretty much a nitpick, if anything. But I really like the final boss. I do think it's just not as good as the Doomsday Zone, not even close, but it's still pretty damn good. So I'd give it like a low A. And there you have it. This is my tier list of the classic Sonic levels plus the Sonic Mania levels, the new ones. Let me know what you guys think. I think this list turned out pretty good. So you know, no really F tiers, cause I don't think there's any like super offensively bad levels. Labyrinth is obviously the worst, and the couple of CD levels are there. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think this is good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you want to see more tier lists. I really like making these, so I would love to see if you guys want more. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.